So in this video, we're going to talk about another main principle within bioenergetic analysis therapy. And in this one, we're going to talk about grounding.
You can move a mountain, you can break rocks, you can be a master, don't wait for luck.
So very simply stated, being grounded is our ability to feel our feet on the ground. Again, very simple. Our ability to feel our feet on the ground. Sounds very simple. Trust me, many people do not have feeling in their feet as they stand or as they walk around. Many times their energy is way too up here and they have cut off a lot of the feeling of their feet, in their ankles, in their legs, even in their pelvis. And sometimes they live in this section of their body and not below. So in bioenergetic analysis therapy, we focus very much on grounding, and it is one of the main principles. So let's talk about the three possible benefits that exist, right? So physically, what are the benefits? Then we'll go into energetically, what are the benefits? And then psychologically, what are the benefits of being grounded? So let's start with physical. So with physical, I guess it's pretty simple. It's just like, okay, we feel our feet on the ground, and then now, because we're grounded, we're much more balanced on our feet. So through the exercises, you'll notice when you're not balanced, and maybe you'll notice that like, okay, I'm standing still, I'm standing up, but I tend to have all my weight on the back of my on the back of my feet on my heels, and then you can practice just like moving forward and holding them on the balls of your feet and be like, whoa, that's a different experience altogether. Why am I holding it back here all the time? And then you could start noticing how this posture of your weight on the back of your feet is much more passive, whereas when you have it more on the balls of your feet, it's just like, whoa, it's much more active. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to achieve, to move forward. So you start noticing things within your feet and how you're standing. And then you can work on any imbalances that may be happening at that lower base foundational level, which is our feet touching the ground. Do you ever see somebody who standing can't really just stand comfortably and they're just kind of shaking as they're standing? It's hard to do, but like I see that often. Like if I go to church or if I go to a place where many people are gathered and standing, there's always some people that are just like shaking. You know, that their knees are buckling. They're buckling at their knees and they're shaking. I'm always like, oh, that person specifically needs a lot of grounding and to work on those uh, neurotic holding patterns within their legs. So you'll notice that from now on, if you see somebody like that, you know that they're going to be somebody who could really benefit from grounding. Or if you stand and just can't stand balanced and still and be fine with it, and your knees buckle, then definitely make sure that you do some grounding exercises. And now I mentioned before that there's many times that we stop feeling our lower half, and it happens because of a lot of neurotic holding patterns that come to us through trauma. So we stay up here in this area, mostly up here, to be honest. It's just we start thinking that we can think our way through issues, through problems, and we just hold our focus up here, never really going down, feeling what's going on in our hearts, in our bellies, in our feet, and how our body's actually doing. We stick up here mostly. And I mean, it makes sense because up here is where we can think, where we can do rational, logical assessment of situations, where we can make plans, where we're conscious, right? It's where our ego is, where we feel like we're up here. But the reality is that we're not up here. We're everything. We're both body and mind, right? And in our bodies, we can gain so much more wisdom if we're allowed to experience them and feel them and see what's going on within them. And the lower half of a body is so important because it really focuses on a lot of the more instinctual and unconscious parts of ourselves, and especially our locomotion, our movement. It's the lower half that allows us to actually move, to move well, and you can see like dancing and stuff like that. It's all down here. So by starting off with our feet and starting grounded on our feet, it helps us on the way up. to move more gracefully. Now, when we come to the energetic component of grounding, you could look up grounding and earthing. If you look those things up, you'll see that it has a lot to do with the energetic charge that is happening within our bodies. But what we do in bioenergetics is not only just ground ourselves, put ourselves on the earth, barefoot or whatever. What we do is we make sure that the energy that is within our body is not stifled, and therefore can flow freely down and freely through the legs. That's why we work on our pelvis, we work on our legs, and we work on our ankles and feet, so that the energy could just go through there fully without getting stifled and stopped along the way. Breaking free of those neurotic holding patterns so that the earthing or the grounding can happen kind of like a fire hydrant when it's needed. Just go, instead of just like maybe little driplets or like a hose. You know, it's just like, no, this is like we're breaking up those neurotic holding patterns so that grounding can happen fully. So that's the energetic component of grounding within bioenergetic therapy. And then the last component is really cool too, because as we practice these grounding exercises and become more grounded, we also get psychological benefits. And these psychological benefits are mostly in the sense of being secure in ourselves. As we are secure physically on our ground, mentally, we're also secure in ourselves. They say it's like, okay, that's a person who has standing, you know? So that's a person who knows who they are. And we're not a person who like walks on eggshells, right? So we become more confident. So somebody who walks on eggshells literally is like tiptoeing or lightly walking on the ground. No, when you're grounded, you have your feet are firmly planted on the ground. And I don't mean you stomp. You don't stomp everywhere. No, you just walk and you feel you feel yourself on the ground. You feel secure on the ground. And it just allows you, again, naturally, spontaneously, without thinking about it, without doing anything, it just allows you to be confident in your speech, in your talking to people, in being. Basically, you're just being yourself, being within your body, not overthinking anything, because guess what? Your energy isn't up here anymore. It's within all of it, and it's mostly actually down here, and it's allowed to come up and down freely. So when you need to think, you think, and you just go back down, and then you can have solid conversations with people. Hold on to boundaries. No, this is my space. This is my ground, right? This is my ground. And no, you do not trespass my ground. Not only physically, but also psychologically. So in other videos, we'll talk a little bit more about some of the keys of what to do when we're doing grounding exercises. But for now, just know that those are the benefits that we can receive by doing these exercises. All right, peace.
You can move a mountain, you can break rocks, you could be a master, don't wait for luck.